All right, we're back with another episode inside the green room. We haven't done one in a while. This is a different kind of segment. For those of you tuning in for the first time, I want to thank the sponsors. Head over to the website, johnbartoloshow.com. Check out a complete list of the sponsors there. I can't thank them enough. Special shout out to Securit, Volquartsen, Right On Optics, Kenzie's Optics, of course, Pulsar, thermal imaging technology. Go check them out. Love Pulsar. And of course, SIG's Hour. Getting excited about SIG and their experience center. Thank you to all the sponsors, guys. Go check out all the podcasts, too. Scott Volquartsen got a good one. Go check out Brady Speets over at Right On. Go check out all the different podcasts. Please leave a review on this one if you get a chance. We haven't done this since SHOT Show, so there's so much to cover. Where do we even begin, Dave?
Oof.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on.
It's a lot. Let's stay out of the news because we could lose a whole episode on that. But let's start with SHOT Show. I want to say my hat's off to everybody involved. It's a big show to pull off. Obviously, the NSSF does its part. I know I've had some critical comments about them, but I think they're figuring some things out, and who knows what comes out on the other side. What was your take, Dave?
I thought the show was great. Like I say, got rid of a lot of the
riff-raff
and the other, that kind of a crowd. But the people who were there, they were serious. They were there to do business. COVID didn't hold them back. You know, all the mask mandate was there and everything. And there was some of the people walking around saying, "Hey, put on your mask" and all that. But all in all, it was a good crowd. It's probably one of my most productive SHOT shows.
I think so. I think so. I think that people got back to business as usual, which is how the show, made its bones to begin with. I think they could have done something with the podcasting center. Obviously, I podcast, so I see that stuff and I pay attention. They had an area set up for media, but it seemed like they kind of blase, used it. It's like it's there, didn't do much to highlight it, which I think is a mistake on their part a little bit. I think they can maximize that a little bit more by getting a few people to do some shows there and stuff like that, Dave. I think it could have been a lot more utilized. And obviously, I'll always be critical of upstairs. I think they could do more upstairs, and I think they could do more with the speaking engagements to draw some of the brands in.
Yeah, the media area this year wasn't quite what it was in previous years, but they didn't have the sponsors that they normally do. So, I mean, they literally spend $100,000 on coffee for the media room, drinks and stuff like that. So that's something that they have to have subsidized. They didn't have Radio Row and all of that. That wasn't there this year. So there was some changes, but I think that they're going to look into it more and more in the future, or at least.
Yeah, I get that vibe too. So I don't want to count them out in 2023. I was highly critical of them in 2022. I'm able to separate the two. Let's see what happens now. And I think it's a foregone conclusion that they know they need to beef some stuff up. I think they did a good job with that outside terrace, trying to do a cocktail hour or something. I mean, at least there was an effort there, I give them credit for that. It's more than what most would do, right, Dave? I mean, at least step in the right direction.
Yeah, it was a step in the right direction. It was a nice little meet and greet that they had out there, catered bar and that for people who wanted it, some live entertainment. So it was a nice little time.
Now, coming out of it, a lot of good stuff. I talked about this before. I had a great meeting with a few different brands. It was really a pleasure to see some people, and I got an opportunity to meet with the Black Rifle Coffee guys, which was really good. And I've talked about this on air before, but what a great meeting with those guys. I got a chance to hear their thoughts on some things and what they saw happening in the industry, and I got to give them my take on some stuff. So really kind of a step in the right direction. I will say, Evan, hopefully he'll be a guest soon. Evan Hafer of Black Rifle Coffee, super good guy, had dinner with him, ended up continuing the conversation for almost 3 hours and after. So my hat's off to them, and I wish them luck going public and everything in between. And I'll gladly, believe me, guys, I asked him some of the tough questions, and if he is on the show, I'll leave it at that, whether it was about Kyle Rittenhouse or some of the different things, criticisms that they faced. At the end of the day, people have to realize it's a coffee company. It's a coffee company. Okay? So I keep saying, it's a coffee company. Love them. And they're able to do some really cool shit. I saw some other good brands there. I thought, for the most part, Christensen Arms had a hell of a booth, but I don't think anybody was in it. I mean, that looked like a space station, Dave. Jesus.
I didn't catch that one.
Yeah, and Pulsar and some of the others, but for the most part, everybody brought a pretty good game to the show, and I think business was conducted as best it could be. And then there was SCI, which was another show. it was nice to see SCI and everybody there and some of the different stuff. Seeing some of those hunts and some of those, those taxidermy trophies, they're freaking amazing. It's insane to go to that show. It's fun. It's like going into Cabela's, for like a day, and Cabela's on crack, steroids. So a lot of fun, but that's, I closed. You went to the range day though. You got any hot take on that? Cause you're always high on the range day.
The range day was good because, again, same thing as it was with SHOT Show. There was just less people there. So there was more time. There was better quality interactions on each booth. A few of the new products, I think a couple companies missed the mark. Smith & Wesson was one where, they had, that new bullpup and that, but they didn't have it at the range where you could actually get out and play with it. I think they missed a good media opportunity, but, those things happen. You come out with a new model. Sometimes you've only got one or two, and especially if one happens to go down or whatever the case was, they didn't have it there. But it was a good time. It was good media. I got good media out of it, produced a lot. Had a few other people out there doing video. They had good media. And so, I was all good on it.
We talked about it before. How about the fucking guy that got the Springfield sample and sold it on Gunbroker? I mean, come on. You've been in this game a long time.
What not to do? He sold it on Gunbroker. He sold it on while it was embargoed. So before it was even out, that's pretty much.
What advice would you give to guys that get free stuff, and what the statute of limitations is on hanging on to it?
Well, if you're going to do that, make sure you got a brother who owns a grocery store or something, so that you got a fallback plan for a career.
Bad move.
Now, you get
poor taste for sure.
Very few companies in the gun industry, especially when it comes to guns, gives you a gun for free. They sell it to you sometimes at a writer price, a dealer price, something like that. But while those programs are good, they help the writers out. If you're going to sell it the next day, send it back to the manufacturer. To be honest, don't take the few dollars.
Now, no one's going to take that advice, Dave, but you gotta, like, what's the statute? Are we saying 3 months? Like, give me a ruling here.
I would try and hold on to it till the next big model came out from the company. Again, for me, it's not just about doing the review. It's how many times can I use it?
I would say you have to
videos and things during the year.
I would say you have to own it for 6 months, but you have to have enough content for a year. Like, you should not be selling that unless you have like 40, 50 pieces of content that you can be like, hey guys, look, at the end of the day, I run a business. Like, a lot of companies, the misconception, Dave, is like, we'll give you product. So to everybody out there listening, they're like, we'll give you product. You could say to them, listen, product's great, and I'm going to do an awesome piece, and I have all this other content, you're welcome to have it, or whatever it is. Just go above and beyond if you're going to dump the product. That's what I say.
And here's a easy solution for the marketing directors and people out there. Call back your writers, call back your content creators, your
advice.
Influencers. 3 months, 6 months later, ask them to do another video.
Well, they
still got the product to do it a month later.
Now, look me in the eye.
And you pretty much cut that off where they buy it, they do the review, and then they try and make money off it by dumping it the next day.
Now, look me in the eye and call me a liar, but I'm telling you, and you know this, at the end of the day, a lot of brands don't do that follow-up that's so critical. And we saw it with the Springfield Hellcat. They sent out all these Hellcats, and then everybody after was like, okay, now what? It's like there's not enough of a clear line of how to proceed, especially when it's just product-based. I'm actually an advocate of, I like throwing the net once in a while, and I think if you're a Springfield, I think it was a good time for them to do that with the Hellcat. And I think even with this bullpup that they came, it was a bullpup, right? They came out with something like that. Yeah. But I think it was a good time for them to throw a big net. But I think the mistake they make is you should probably work with people on a micro basis, on a much more micro basis. They threw a pretty big net with those two products. I mean, they sent them to a lot of folks. I didn't get one, but they sent them to a lot of folks.
I mean, I hang out with you here all the time, John, and you're constantly burning up the phones all day long. And those marketing directors should be doing the same. If you're waiting for everybody to reach out to you,
it's never going to happen,
and ask you, if you're not following up on it 2 months later, 3 months later, what else can we do together on that? Can we get something else? Even if there's some kind of other, collaboration, we'll help get you some ammo, we'll do whatever. Then they're failing their company, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. No, Eric said it looks good. No, Eric, they make a good product. It's not the product. They make a great product. I mean, Springfield, look, the Saint, everything aside with it, they make a good product. I mean, we all like the product. And I think that they're a company that's trying to blast into the scene in a progressive way. You know, they're probably a little bit ahead of Smith & Wesson in some ways in terms of how they try to hit the market. And I think that they're still a long ways away from SIG, but you know what I mean, and how they take a product to market and how they're hitting it. So I think that there's a lot of opportunity there. You know, I don't look. It's hard. A lot of companies don't understand how many people you need in a department to do that type of stuff. But nevertheless, that doesn't take away from the quality of the product. You can have the best product, and sometimes you just don't get it out there. There's been a lot of cool products we've seen through the years, Dave, that, you know, they just don't hit the market the right way. And it's hard, you know. It's definitely hard.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I mean, the Hudson pistol was a good example. I mean, came in with a thunder, but you know, went out with a fart in the wind, and I thought there was something there for a minute in the innovation side. You know, I thought it was pretty cool. But
Honor Defense was another one. Had some really great products and some really great features in it. They just never had the budget, and just could never be successful in, you know, some kind of guerrilla marketing campaign. To get enough units into people's hand to make it work.
Yeah. Now the sleeper I've always felt is Battle Arms development. I feel like Battle Arms could always, you know, make a huge splash. They just don't have the legs to do it. It's you know, it's not their fault. It's not George's fault. He makes a fantastic product. It's just more a matter of getting the right people in place to kind of hit the market hard, because I love the look of their stuff.
It's great look, great operation, but it's, you know, it's on that high end. And when you got that high end, you really got to be doing the marketing to back it up. I mean, you know, look at where Daniel Defense is at. But you know, they spend the money and they do the work to keep themselves as that top tier.
Now, let's jump out of that. We had some good guests come through here. We had a whole wild crew during SHOT Show. We had a military guy that, you know, what a record. The captain is a Yuri. So many good guests come through the last couple of weeks. Really an awesome time. And I can't thank them all enough, guys. Anyone who comes through, I appreciate the hell out of you guys. And we had a really good episode just the other day with Dewey Vieira from Silencer Co. So it's super cool to see all these different brands and have the folks coming through. And we're going to have Julian Erosa, who's fresh off a win at the last UFC. We got a big UFC weekend this weekend. We got the Super Bowl too, Dave. Let's segue into that for a second. Who do you got? You rooting for Stafford? It's pretty much root for Stafford.
Ohio boy, I got to go for the Bengals.
Okay.
You know, hometown heroes.
How do you not, right? The spread's good. You know, the over-under's good. How do you not go for the Bengals?
Even, what was it? What's his name? Mattress McGivern or whatever out of Texas there put $9.5 million on the Bengals?
Yeah.
So drove all the way to Louisiana to get to a state where you could legally bet online to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I like the Bengals, but I individually want to root for Stafford just because I think he deserves one. You spend that much time in Detroit, Dave. Talk to me.
You should get a badge or at least a tattoo or something, at least for just having.
You should at least
Detroit.
get a T-shirt.
Exactly.
We're all in agreement. You should. I mean, he's a better quarterback than his environment was. At least he had Megatron for a while. He's in a good environment now, and you can't help but, as much as you don't want to see LA win. I mean, nobody wants to see, you know, a Cali-based team win. I mean, God.
Yeah, that for me, you know, on the personal side, goes back a little farther. I had a stepdad who was a big Rams fan. So just to, you know, probably be a jerk as a teenager, I always, you know, I got used to rooting against him just so that we had the rivalry at home, make it a little bit fun instead of everybody on, you know, rooting for the same team. So I'm used to rooting against the Rams.
Crazy. And Brady retired. You got to cover that quick.
Yeah.
Say goodbye to a winner.
That's your, you know.
I know.
Your boy.
But it had to, you know, you must have said, oh, there goes an error, right? It's the end of an era.
I don't think he'll go broke or, you know, be worrying about where his next paycheck's coming from.
Now, do you think there's any truth to the rumor that he's trying to make a play to go to the 49ers and move Garoppolo out? That's the $1 million question.
You know, look at how many times Gronk's come back for him and all of that. If Brady said he wanted to go somewhere next year, somebody'd pick him up. He'd be out from, you know.
Well, they'd have to do it as a trade because he has one more year left on his contract. So they'd have to send Garoppolo to, you know, Tampa in exchange for the 1 year of Brady. And, of course, Gronk would go anywhere he goes. It's a package deal.
Yeah, I think he's done what he's, you know, set out to do. I mean, he certainly secured his place in the record books, perhaps, so, you know, the greatest of all time. I don't think he's got anything left to prove, and no more reason to risk injury.
Eric, I think you said it the best. He left a crack open in the door. I agree with that. I think he did leave a little crack, and that might be his subtle nod. I didn't take offense to his original post. A lot of people made noise about, him not thanking the Patriots. I think he was saying goodbye to his team first, the team he was with, and I think, I'm fine with that. I don't get Portnoy's, being upset or, Barstool, those guys, they were like, oh, it was a little disrespectful.
No, he did the same thing he did when he left the Patriots.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same general format as to who he thanked in what order. He was in Tampa then. Those were his fans. Mm-hmm. Although he's got fans everywhere, of course, legacy throughout his career. That's he should have thanked the hometown people who were paying his salary then.
Absolutely. Ryan, thank you for buying a badge. Appreciate you. We had a good talk the other day. Appreciate you, Ryan. Badges are for sale. We have memberships. So anyone wants to chip in, it helps the show. And you guys, I'll try to kick it back to you in some way. I haven't thought of a creative way yet, but we will. We'll find a way. We'll send some hats out or something. We'll do something. But I'm clearly not going to run off into the woods with the money. So don't worry about that. We'll get it back to some of you guys in some cool way. We'll think of something, right, Dave? A giveaway. We'll figure something out. But listen, it's a crazy week. We got a big weekend. And then coming up, looming on the horizon, we got the Covington Masvidal fight, and we got some fights this weekend. Casey O'Neill from my gym's fighting against Roxanne. There's something cool about kind of what's going on right now with the mask mandate being lifted too, Dave. I wanted to touch on that. What do you think of that compared to the federal level and the state level, what we're seeing? I want to touch on that.
Well, who was it? John Hopkins? Was that who it was? Came out with a big report saying they're just not effective. We've known that. It's been out there, but, now you're getting, New England Journal of Medicine, John Hopkins, Mayo Clinic, whoever.
It's pretty big pieces.
It's really hard to say we're following the science, but we're not going to listen to them because they didn't say, we've had that argument, whether you're for them, whether you're against them. My kid still wants to wear one. She's in that, teenage years, a little bit awkward. And so she likes kind of having something to hide behind. She certainly doesn't want to wear it for medical reasons, though.
Yeah. I think we all want to wear it to hide. That's a different argument. Who wants to see people, right? That's a whole different. If I could wear like a Michael Myers mask everywhere, I probably would. Then
I'd be in. I'd be in if he gave me the Michael Myers mask.
100%. Yeah. I mean, but for the most part, like, look it. I've never been a fan of these mandates. I'm never going to be a fan of the mandates, and that's where I stand. Ryan brings up an interesting thing. I do want to touch on that, Ryan. I'm glad you brought it up. Adesanya blasting the media over Joe Rogan nonsense. I do want to touch on the Joe Rogan piece. Dave, I think it's the death of cancel culture. I think we're witnessing it now because the owner said repeatedly he's going to stand by Joe, and why wouldn't he? He's a good investment. He's got the listenership. I don't understand where this is going, pulling a clip from 13 years ago. It's a narrative thing. What do you see?
I think, everybody's got a skeleton in the closet somewhere. Like I say, I think that, we got a statute of limitation on certain crimes. We should get a statute of limitations on speech. You said something when you were 16. You said something when you were 13. You can take anything out of context. Quite honestly, I'm a fan of, what every mother should have taught their kid by the age of about 4. Hey, sticks and stones. It's a name. It's a word. It only has a power that you choose to give it to. I got a PhD focusing on persuasive communications. I can use lots of words in lots of ways. If you want to be hurt by it, though, you have to take it in such a way. And at that point, it's a false narrative.
Dave's a far better wordsmith than I'll ever be.
I think that the pendulum is swung far enough that, it's just a bunch of rattling noise. People bored at home from COVID, and just nobody's going to listen to them anymore.
Well, look, here's the thing. I agree with you. There needs to be a statute of limitations on speech. And I brought this up before, the whole Stacey Abrams picture with her with no mask and the kids all in masks. She posted that. It's in poor taste. She's going to take a couple lashes for it. They're going to be slaps on the wrist. And I agree. Joe said some things 13 years ago that were clearly taken out of context in the manner in which, and like we agreed, the spiciest one clip that he said was the Planet of the Apes thing. But like, come on, it's 13 years ago. And at the end of the day, I'm sure his language has changed. I mean, I made a ruling. I'm going to say if you said it more than 3 years ago or it happened more than 3 years ago, I'm sorry. Cry me a fucking river. Give me a puddle of tears. You know, let's put a limit on like how far. Like, because if you're trolling tweets from 3 years plus, I mean, you're a fucking loser. I mean, you are a fucking loser.
A little bit farther. All right. If you just want to debate, you know, what's going on there, right? Statute of limitations, whatever. You know, we're supposed to be in a colorblind society. We're supposed to be all equal, everything.
We're all in the locker room.
You'll get people who'll say, I mean, look, you know, can a rapper go out and use that word?
Yeah.
I mean, well, they can, depending on what their race is, right? Like you've got a card, you've got a special privilege because I belong to that race. Therefore, I can say that racial epithet. Because I belong to it, so it's no longer offensive. Look, if you're offended by the word, you're offended by the word, regardless of whose mouth it comes out of. You know, it's not, you know, good for thee, but not for me. You know, they've got to set some limits.
Well, look, I'm not, you know, I'm not against someone doing something wrong and paying a penalty. You know, do you give someone a lifetime penalty for something they did 13 years ago, or are they just trolling at this point? You know what I mean? I think people. You know what? Twitter's the worst because on Twitter they try to get so everything's an allegation on Twitter. It's spicy, you know. It's like let's get them. You know, on Instagram it's more they try to kill you with a meme or a picture or something like that. And look, guys, some stuff's hilarious. It's funny. It's whatever. It's, you know, it's edgy. Some people say I say a lot of stuff that's definitely edgy in my business. I think Joe said some things 13 years ago. It was 13 years ago. I mean, I'm not paying attention to what he did 13 years ago. I'm paying attention to what he did this year, last year, maybe next year, and seeing where he's going. Is he going in that direction of being that type of guy that would use that stuff in a salacious manner? No, it's not who he is. And at the end of the day, he's a comedian. So stop it. But is that, you know, have we reached the line, Dave? That's the question.
I think so. I think that the pendulum is finally swung. It's to the point that, like I say, it's just noise. It's a few people out there with a Twitter account, with a whatever. They get a few of their friends on it, and they pretend that we represent all of America because, you know, we got a few people and a hashtag. We created a hashtag. I think that they're just over with that. It's done. Like I say, you know, sticks and stones, right? It's a name. It's a word.
I still think the world would be a better place with verified accounts. Then I could just, you know, say, hey, if you get a problem with it, and we can go meet at recess. That's how I feel. I mean, it's just some of it is just so preposterous. Now, Adesanya defended him. Ryan. Here's the thing. Some people, you don't need 1 million people to white knight for you. It's not an I stand with you thing. And I think people who come out and say, you know, this is Joe's take or this is his opinion, I think that's all the support people need. I would hope if I went through something like that, and Lord knows I will, everybody here listening knows I will one day. I'm going to preface it now, and I'm prepared for that. But I would hope that everybody would understand the meaning and the context and the way I'm trying to say things. And I'm going to be honest, the show's 4 years old, 3 years old, David, at this point. Did I say things in year one I don't agree with? Probably now. Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, I've 100 opinions that have changed. So, you know, I just don't buy into that whole we're going to reach back and look at John Bartolo or Joe Rogan or Dana White or anybody, and we're going to look at a clip of them when they were 16 and see what they said here and what they did. Now, if we all agree with that, the price we pay for that is we also have to grant grace to other people too. We can't go digging back. Now, if people are hypocrites, then they're hypocrites, right? That's a whole different thing. And I think we have to put a line there. It's my take. I don't know if that supports him or not, but that's my take.
No, like I say, it's all speech, right? It's all speech. Everybody's got a freedom to say most anything they want, we'll say.
Now, how does this rub work now, coming back to the mask mandate with the state and federal? You know, the feds are still pushing it. The states aren't. Where does that leave us? Is the feds going to, are we going to have stormtroopers walking down the street saying, put your mask on? I mean, how does this play out? Or do the feds come around? I think they come around. I don't think they have a choice, really. I think they're fighting a feudal battle. I mean, that Jen Psaki, when she gets up, she looks crazy. She looks crazy, Dave.
Yeah. 100%.
She looks absolutely nuts. Like she needs a week off. She looks literally like Raggedy Ann. I feel for her. I do.
It's hard when you step. I mean,
because she can't believe in what she's saying.
That position, when you step in, they give you a flak jacket. All the journalists have signed it, but you're taking fire from all sides. Every time you get behind the podium.
But there's no way she believes in what she's saying, and I think she knows it.
She's a hired gun.
She's a hired gun.
Hired to say. You have to be willing to go up there, and you have to be, Baghdad Bob, who's saying, no. I know you can see the pictures of troops right behind me, but they're not really here.
Now, as this dumpster fire rolls into midterms, it's going to get interesting with the whole Kamala thing. I haven't asked you this yet, but does Biden run again?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Absolutely not.
You think she's going to take a play for it?
I don't think she can. I think that, she might try.
Yeah.
She's trying to distance herself, which means that she wants to. But I think that after midterms, Biden has to announce. He has to say something because he has to give those Democrats time to start campaigning. And that there's going to be challenges to him.
Yeah.
The economy's going down. People vote their pocketbooks. Whether it was his fault or not, we can debate that. I certainly got my opinions, but yeah, that's all coming, going to come to fruition now.
It's going to be interesting. It'll be interesting.
When they get a, unexpected shellacking there at the midterms, which part of it is just cyclical as to who's coming available. But, the other half is his support is so low even from his own party.
Yeah. Well, listen, either way, it'll be interesting how it plays out. I hope everybody listening, likes and subscribes. I appreciate everyone buying the membership badges, all the regular chatters, guys. I appreciate you guys for sharing the membership stuff and pushing that. It really means a lot. And I love seeing the badges pop up now. Oh yeah, Brian, appreciate it. Brian's giving a shout out. Hey Brian, what's up? Give him some love, Dave. He's in the bottom of the chat.
Oh, hey.
He made it in.
What's up?
Hey.
I just realized he met by Brian.
Yeah. So it's good to see you, Brian. So listen, guys, I appreciate everybody who comes in and supports the show. It means the world to all of us in here. And we're doing the best we can to get you the best content. It's been a wild week, a wild 2 weeks coming off a SHOT Show. Everybody was sick. Everybody was under the weather. Everybody's kind of bouncing off the walls. The next couple weeks will be really good. I know it's slow and steady on YouTube, but we're going to do the best we can to try to get you guys out as much content as we can. And I know I've been popping up in other people's chats and other people's Twitches. I'm doing the best I can to kind of see everybody and get my feelers out there. But I appreciate all of you guys. And yes, we're on Getter, beyond the memberships. Yes, we're on Odyssey. We're on all those different platforms. Love all you guys. I appreciate everyone. Thank you to all the sponsors, guys. Go to the website. And if everybody can take a minute, leave a review, go hit tap thumbs up, tap like on everything and share it. It means everything. I appreciate you guys. I hope you like the Green Room segment. Send any questions that you have. Dave, anything else?
We're all good. I think that we got to do one new on, isn't Trump coming out with a new truth?
Yes.
Platform soon? I think we need some coverage on that.
Yeah.
Maybe next room.
Next week. We'll do another one. We're going to try to do these speaking of that, we're going to try to do these a little more regular. I know it's been sporadic, but we're going to try to get these in a little more regular. I want to try this year to try to do one of these a week. I know it's hard, guys. I'm doing the best I can, but these short segments are kind of synopsis of everything we're doing during the week. Did I say that right? Synopsis or synopses?
No, one of those synopsis because it's a single.
Yeah, it's single.
I don't know.
So
tomato.
Yeah, I had to think that one through. So I appreciate all you guys and everybody. And hey, listen, thank you. We're out.